We are on the Island of Kerrera, a few minutes on what must be one of the smallest CalMac ferries. A few minutes ferry ride across from the mainland on a quiet, grey day. Even though it's a grey day, I'm struck by the reflections in the water because it is so still, and it's fascinating seeing the different colours of the trees and then the shape of the rock and the shape of the outline of the hills just being displayed in the water. It's interesting to see this come upon this notice on the rock that here was the first submarine transatlantic cable system in 1956 going across to Newfoundland in this little spot here with a lovely row of cottages and a fuchsia hedge behind. The tea house is in sight. Coffee and cake, jolly good. We're walking down to the castle now, just looking back up the path to the tea rooms, which were very impressive. We've just come round the bend and there is the castle.
He gets shipwrecks.
And every time I look at it, it looks a bit different. And that comes down there. Whoops-a-daisy. Gylen Castle was probably built by Duncan MacDougall of Dunolly, the 16th chief of the clan, in 1582, and it became known as Duncan's Fort. And it's a rare example of a tower built in the Scots baronial style, because it's a fortified tower house. So it's got 4 main stories with a room on each floor and 2 turrets. Obviously defence was very important. They had gun loops and pistol holes and observation outlooks on all approaches. And the doorway, the entrance doorway, was the principal defence of Gylen. And it would have had a heavy timber door as well as an inner iron grille. But it wasn't entirely utilitarian. Great artistry and craftsmanship had gone into its construction, with many interesting features such as the crow-stepped gables, corbelled cornices, the oriel window and the Romanesque carving. Gylen's castle occupation as a residence lasted only 65 years. The Covenanting Wars of the mid-17th century were turbulent times, and many of the MacDougall clan were to lose their lives for their support of the king. Gylen seemed impregnable, but it had one major downfall, its water supply, and though it did have a natural spring inside the castle, that wasn't enough when they were besieged. And in 1647, a royalist garrison living in Gylen Castle came under attack from a small army of General Leslie's Covenanting troops. They couldn't storm the castle, but they laid siege to it. It's not known how long that lasted, but because they didn't have enough water, and ironically for the west coast there wasn't enough rainfall, they surrendered. Otherwise, everybody belonging to them would have been hanged. Set high on the promontory of sheer cliffs, Gylen's position commands stunning views of the islands, the surrounding seaboard and mainland of Lorne. In Gylen's time, boats were the main form of transport, and Ardmore Bay to the right was a ferry port. Kerrera itself formed the main ferry port for the ferries from Mull and the Inner Hebrides from 1760 to 1860. The stone ledge is where one of the MacDougalls reputedly killed 7 of his enemies. Behind me it's marked as a hill fort on the map. Today it's the home of a billy goat gruff. High on the other side is a lone mountain ash, trees that we've seen a lot of, often amongst other vegetation standing out sharply and clearly. This is Little Horseshoe Bay, the home of a graveyard of many ships. This field is called Dial Rig, the King's Field, where Alexander II of Scotland died in 1249, killed by the Vikings.